Hello, English learner. Welcome to English.Conversation. My name is Jack.
And my name is Mary.
Good afternoon, my name is Samson. Would you please tell me your full name?
Good afternoon, I'm Parmida Durdi. You can call me Lian.
Lian, okay, great. So, can I see your identification?
Sure, here you are.
Okay, that's wonderful, thanks very much. Okay, so in the first part of the exam, I will ask you some personal questions. So first, I'd like to ask you about your hometown. Where is your hometown?
My hometown is Tehran. I was born in Tehran, Ekbatan town, and I'm kind of used to living there because all my childhood friends are there.
Okay.
I used to play in the playgrounds, and I remember that my mother and father used to take me there, and I had so many friends. Back there, but unfortunately now I don't live there anymore.
Okay. So, do you often visit your hometown?
Yes, actually, I'm coming from there now because one of my closest friends, her name is Yasaman, is living there, and I sometimes go and visit her.
Wow. So, let's now move on to talk about your daily routine. When do you usually get up in the morning?
I usually get up early in the morning, but it can change whether I have homework or not, because of my major, which is architecture. Our homework is various, and we can either have a lot of homework or not at all.
Okay. So, do you usually have the same routine every day?
No, I don't usually have the same routine every day. As I told you before, because of my major, which is architecture, we have various homeworks, and I study different languages, which are architecture, Korean, and English. So, based on these facts, I have different daily routines and different plans every day.
Okay. Now, is your routine the same today as it was when you were a child?
I don't think so, because as I grew up and became an adult, my responsibilities has become way greater, and my tasks has also became larger and more important. So no, I don't think it's the same.
Okay, good. Now, let's talk about dictionaries. Do you often use a dictionary?
Yes, I often use a dictionary because I study different languages, and I'm actually thinking about taking a course in Spanish. So I'm thinking about buying a new dictionary and learning Spanish very soon.
Okay. And what do you use dictionaries for usually?
I use dictionaries to look up different words and meanings. Dictionaries are much more useful when you're using them in the same language that you're studying, because you can learn more words through the meanings and the examples of that language.
Okay, good. Right, that's the end of the first part. Let's move on to the next part. Now, so, here with the papers. All right. Now I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for up to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make notes if you wish. Do you understand? Okay, good. So, there's a piece of paper, a pen, and this is your topic. Describe a person who has interesting ideas or opinions. There's your cue card. So, I'll give you 1 minute to make notes if you like. Okay, that's, you may start speaking. Go ahead.
Okay. So, you asked me about a person who has interesting ideas, and I'm about to tell you who this person is. This person is Do Kyung-soo. He's my role model, and he's a K-pop artist. He's also an actor. I started getting into K-pop when I was 16 years old, and you might not know this, but I'm a kind of a perfectionist. And as I started getting to know this person, I realized that he has this kind of carefree attitude, and he doesn't care about the results of the actions and the works that he does. And he's very successful, and I think this kind of attitude towards his life is very helpful because nowadays people are really struggling with their mental health, and this kind of attitude and idea toward living is very important. And as a perfectionist, I started acting like him. And whenever I had a problem, even with my major or decisions, I started thinking about what would Do Kyung-soo do? What would he think? And he helped me a lot with making my decisions. And you asked me about and you asked me about why his idea was interesting. His idea was interesting because it's a new kind of idea.
Okay,
in
thanks
this
very
world.
much. That's the end of the 2 minutes. I can take back your papers now. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Just put that there. Okay, so continue. So we've been talking about a person who has interesting ideas, and now I'd like to ask you some questions related to this. So let's consider opinions now. At what age do you think young people begin to have their own ideas, and why?
I think people start to have their own ideas at their childhood, because it's the time that they begin to start knowing their surroundings and making decisions toward life.
And when do children start to have their own ideas?
They start to have their own ideas when they reach when they reach the age of teenager, because I think that's the time they struggle with a lot of issues in the world. They see a lot of things on the internet and social media, and they meet different people, and I think that's it.
Okay, now can you suggest why children, as they grow older, have more and more disagreements with their parents about ideas?
I think that's because of the difference. I think that's because of age difference and the time that they were born in. Because our parents were born in a different decade, and we were born in a different decade. We are more interacting with the social media and other people, new ideas, but our parents aren't.
Good. Now let's consider the influence of opinions. Who do you think has more influence on children's ideas, their parents or their teachers?
I believe at the young age, parents has the most influence on the children, but as they start going to school, teachers has the most influence, and after that, their friends. Because my best friend was the reason that I started studying architecture.
Right. And do you think private tutors have any role in this matter? Do you think they have influence on students?
Yes, I think that's the case because they spend a lot of time together and it's obviously influence.
Okay, and do you think children's ideas can be influenced by the school they go to, and why?
Yes, I think so because the environment is really important. Have you ever seen the difference between public school and the private schools? The children are really different, and sometimes private school children are really spoiled.
Right.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, and let's have a think for a second here about university. Do you think students get influenced by what goes on socially at university?
Could you please repeat your question?
Sure. Do you think students get influenced by other students at university?
Yes, I think so, but it depends whether they are their best friends or not. I think we get more influenced by our best friends more than the others.
Right, okay. Thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test. Do you want to know what band score you'll get in the IELTS speaking test? Perhaps you want to improve your performance and prepare yourself for the real test? Then why not book an online mock test with us that will last for 25 minutes? 12 minutes of the test itself and 13 minutes of comprehensive feedback, plus we'll give you useful tips on how to make your performance better. So, we know how to help you. Join us.
Okay, that was a lot of talking. Do you have any questions?
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate that you give me this feedback because I know this will help me. This is exactly what I need.
Although my job is hard, I enjoy doing it.
Because you have already practiced for this part. The last time on the exam day, you should make sure, okay, this is the last time I'm going to talk about
IELTS
How to know for our generation.
Find out movie and talk about what they look for and film. So, we were talking about cinema or film.
So let's look into fluency and coherence for a second here. So you were very coherent, and the way you were how you carried on with your conversation, you just kept going. You sounded very natural when you were speaking, and the flow of speech, it was great. I mean, I could have, if I were to improve that, if you wanted to go any higher, then maybe you could have elaborated a little bit more on some questions in part 3, the last part of the speaking test. I mean, other than that, I mean, the way you were expressing your opinions and elaborating on your topic, whatever you were talking about, it sounded very natural and coherent. It was spot on. It was fluent. So, very well done. That's wonderful stuff. And like I said, even part 1, maybe if you switch that around a little bit, because part 1 you were giving good reasons and elaborating on your answers there, which is good, even though that the questions are short and simple. The answers should be fairly short too. Maybe you could reduce that a little bit and increase the length of your answers in part 3. I mean, these are just ways to improve for you. So yeah, very well done. You had some pauses here and there, but that wasn't language related. That was content related, and so any IELTS speaking examiner will pick up on that. So that's not a problem. That would happen to any natural speaker looking for the idea, looking for the content rather than the language. So very well done. So let's move on to lexical resource. That's your vocabulary. It was very strong, your vocabulary. I thought it was very well related, and you could form complex words and in your sentences, all related, and that sounded very natural too. So I'd say that was a very well done, nice one. You were using coming up with all these expressions like carefree and stuff like that, all in the right places. So very well done. Yeah, I wouldn't really focus too much on that either. So let's look at your grammatical range and accuracy. And this is somewhere where you can actually maybe improve a little bit if you like.
Sure.
I think because most of your grammatical range and accuracy altogether, it was complex, it was accurate in most of the places in all 3 parts of the speaking test. Maybe some things were you missed a few things at times, maybe one or two, but nothing noticeable. As you said, the age of teenager, or when they become a teenager. So maybe you could have said that. And at their childhood, maybe during their childhood. So these were just two things I picked up on. The rest, I think it sounded all accurate, and you could form the very complex grammatical structures all together anyway, which that brings up your bad score. So just these two little things. I mean, you would have got past. I mean, you would have been on your way to a 9 if you didn't miss these little things here with the grammatical range and accuracy. It was very minor, like I said. I mean, that could easily be improved on. And what I'm looking at, I mean, you had these techniques within you anyway, even though you said you didn't really study IELTS or the IELTS techniques in particular, but you had them all. I mean, when you cover the 4 criteria, that's important. I mean, pronunciation here, again, strong, very clear. I mean, it was clear enough for to be on the level of a native speaker. So I don't think anything was mispronounced. I didn't pick up on anything in particular. So